Hello everyone, welcome to the Alpha Hustle. This is a daily review of Bank Nifty where we will talk about three important aspects. One, how markets auction today. Two, what markets failed to do. Three, important references for tomorrow's auction. So let's quickly get started. On a daily time frame, sellers continued one time framing to the downside for the fourth consecutive session, which means making lower high and lower lows on daily bars. Now let's take a closer look at the market profile charts to understand how markets auction today. Market opened towards the low end of the Friday's range, where the sellers tried to probe lower in the A period, where they failed to get acceptance below the weekly balance low that led the auction to the upside. The buyers have taken the control back from the sellers and started to probe higher within the lower distribution of Friday. Buyers attempted to probe higher into Friday's upper distribution in the A period that have been rejected, with the responsive sellers stepping in right at Friday's A period low. These sellers took the control of the auction to start one time framing to the downside in the C period after breaking the inside bar in the B period all the way through to K period. So the sellers were in total control of the auction today. So the sellers that started the one time framing to the downside were able to successfully find acceptance below the weekly balance in I, J, and K periods. L period had an attempt to stop the one time framing lower. However, the rally in the L period was used by the sellers again to shut down the buying. So that led the market to close towards the low end of the day. So clearly, the sellers were in control. All the rallies were being used to sell into and getting a closer towards the low end of the day. Now let's understand what markets failed to do. The buyers in the A period who have shut down the selling below the weekly balance failed to get an extension or acceptance into the upper distribution on Friday. So this is a failed auction that's left at 36,116 within the upper distribution low zone of Friday is an important reference to carry forward. During the auction in the B, C, and all the way through to K period, never the buyers were able to stop one time framing to the downside. Buyers were eventually successful in stopping the one time framing to the downside in the L period. However, that rally has been used by the sellers to sell into. So this rally high of 35,514 is an important reference to watch out. Now let's talk about the important references for tomorrow's auction. The first reference for me is a close. So the close in today's auction is towards the low end of the range. That suggests that we may potentially have a gap down or an open towards the low end of today's range. So any acceptance below would mean a continuation of one time framing to the downside on the daily time frame. Any failure to get acceptance below today's close may probably attempt a move towards the rally high of 35,514. The rally high of 35,514 is an important reference to watch out for. Any acceptance below the L period high back into Friday's lower distribution would suggest that there is a change to the short-term context. Any acceptance within the Friday's lower distribution would mean that the buyers have to absorb the sellers. So this is a zone where the sellers started the one-time framing to the downside. If the buyers are able to get some acceptance, rotate within this zone, would potentially mean a probe towards the failed auction that was left at 36,116. Any acceptance above 36,116 back into this value area would probably make the market a bit choppy. However, the destination for getting acceptance into this value area is potentially the C period failed auction that was left last Friday. That's all for today. Thank you very much for joining and listening. Have a nice day.